October Red Boxing here with former GB member Tori-Ellis Willetts. Welcome to October Red Boxing.
Thank you for having me.
A pleasure. We are here back in Acocks Green Boxing Gym in Birmingham. A new addition to the team. Talk to us a little bit about that and how it came about.
So I used to train as an amateur sometimes in the Acocks Street old gym, and I've seen Max training with the Affi brothers, and I've always been kept an eye on his training and seen that it looks like really good training. Obviously he's now got Tion and Corey, which are from East Side, so I know those two. So yeah, it was just a matter of approaching Max, asking for a meeting, and yeah, gone from there.
It's kind of like a bit special, and it's a bit special because I think you're the first female that Max has trained, which, you know, female boxing is on the rise. What was it like when you approached Max and he was like, yeah, what you're saying, you want to train us?
Well, I actually asked him when I was back at the old gym, I says, would you ever take on any females? And I think he was a bit taken back by the question because he wasn't sure. And then afterwards, he was just hanging around, and then I got to know him. So yeah, it's good to be the first female. It's take it in stride, I guess.
So where are you now in your career? I know that you're a decorated amateur, but for our viewers, to let our viewers know a little bit about you, give us your accolades, your record, and a little bit about your boxing career so far.
So I started off kickboxing from the age of 11 till 18, representing Great Britain for that. And then I seen Chantelle Cameron switch over, so I followed her footsteps and wanted to get onto Great Britain. Managed to get onto the Team GB, winning the Elite Nationals twice, GB Nationals as well, and then represented internationally in numerous medals at tournaments. So yeah, it's been a good journey so far.
So talk to us then, there's obviously been a pause, and what's happening with you now? I'm going to make the assumption, are you going to be turning over pro? Is that the plan?
Yeah, so it's been in my mind for quite a while. Obviously the Olympic weights have changed now, so my weight's no longer in the Olympics. So it was, my weight was 52 kilograms, so I had in the back of my head, I was like, well, either 50 or 54, and there's other girls on the squad that's in those positions, #1 positions. So I thought, you know what, it's time now. The women's boxing is getting big in the professional scene. I'm 27, and I've done a lot, and I've achieved a lot in a short amount of time on GB. I've got fast track to get to where I have to. So now I want to go down the professional route and get a world title.
Very, very ambitious, but kind of forced out of maybe a career path that you was going to choose. Maybe Olympics was something that you wanted to do.
The Olympics was always the dream, definitely from the start. But then as you see that women's boxing is getting bigger, that dream's kind of changed to seeing the likes of your teammates on GB on TV, like Ellie Scottney, Karis Hartenstall, all them girls that you've trained with at GB. You're like, you know what, I could go down this professional route, and yeah, that's basically what I wanted to do.
And that is why it is so important that we do see more females in boxing. I get it, you know, we're trying to steer away from, you know, having separate sexes. However, it is females involved in boxing. You do the 2-minute rounds. There are differences, but it's nice to know that you've got, you know, people that have been there, have been on the GB squad, and you're looking and saying, you know what, they're doing it, I can do it.
Yeah, definitely. There's loads of the girls on there now that are doing that. Like Raven Chapman, she was one of my teammates. A few of the girls are good friends with, and their journey's taken off. Like Raven's with Frank Warren, she's killing it. You know, all of them girls. It's it definitely makes you want to just go down that route and see what you can achieve in that time.
So we're going to talk about styles in fighting. Something that I'm quite passionate about is, you know, boxing styles, just to learn a little bit about the fighter and what you're about. So talk to us a little bit about your style. And I'm going to say, before you came to train with Max.
Do you know what? I've always had a good engine, but training with Max, I thought I had a good engine. However, the training is going to take it to the next level, sort of engine. So work rate, engine, and just basics done well. That's basically me down to a T. So yeah.
I will say from what I see that, you know, do you cut off the ring is what I'm saying, is your style is somebody that will press forward.
Like a front foot boxer. Yeah, like defend and counter front foot boxer sort of style, putting that pressure on, and then yeah, not letting them breathe basically.
And we could see that from the drills that you were doing with Max. Talk to us about his training style. And I know you've been here, you said, for 2 weeks. This is your second full week. How has that training gone so far?
Really well. It's like my style kind of like mixes with Max's style quite well, because I'm that front foot of pressure and he's bringing that out of me even more. So yeah, I'm looking forward to like learning more and gaining the experience in turning professional and using more of the power and making a difference in the pro scene, really.
So where are you literally now then? Obviously I know that you're training here. Like you said, you came off the GB squad because you've got goals, ambitions, dreams. You said you want titles. Where are you now in the process of obviously turning over pro? So
one of the other things is I'm taking my route of like my career after boxing as well. So I'm going into the route of being a PE teacher at a school in Aston. So I want to do that on the side as well as go down the professional route. So that was one of the main things coming off GB as well, a career change. And then so at the moment we're just looking at trying to get looking at promotion deals and seeing where we can like start the journey and hopefully have a debut early next year.
And that's what I want to ask as well, because there's other females that are still on GB that may be coming off, may follow in your footsteps. You've mentioned that you've looked up to Chantelle Cameron. There may be someone that's looking up to Tori-Ellis Willetts. What is the kind of like mindset that you have to say, you know what, this is definitely the right decision for me?
Just realising how far you've come and how much you've achieved, and that to be proud of what you've achieved, even if it wasn't that Olympic dream, you still achieved so much within your like amateur status. And now it's like starting from the professional scene. You start from the beginning, but you've got to work your way up, and that's what like drives you, because you want to be known in the professional scene as well. So that for me is what I want to be doing.
And how was the process been going for you to obviously get to that professional status? Obviously, I know you're training with Max. I know Max manages fighters as well as trains them as well. A man that wears many hats, but wears them well. Where are you at that stage, and how have you found this process so far?
Oh well, Max has been having chats with people. Hopefully, we're having a meeting this week, so that'll be like the next stage really, to getting signed by someone and then being managed by Max and stuff. So yeah, hopefully the debut will be soon.
And what weight are you going to fight at as professional? Because I know sometimes when you're in the amateurs, the weights slightly change. You either go down. Usually fighters might go down a weight. Talk to us about the weight that you'll be fighting at as a pro.
I reckon superfly or bantamweight, yeah. So obviously I boxed at 52 at amateurs, but I feel like I want to get strong at the weight within the professional ranks. So I think we'll see where I'll feel comfortable at. As long as I feel strong, I don't mind making the weight at a lower weight, as long as I'm strong at it. But I don't want to be in there feeling drained. So yeah, we'll see where it pans out. But hopefully get strong, and then it's superfly ideally. But if not, then we build into bantam.
And some of the championships that you've won, is there any professional fighters that are out there that were amateurs at the same time that you fought, that we, just so we can get a feel for like where you are? Would you be able to talk to us about that? Is that something that you're comfortable talking about?
Yeah, so Chloe Watson, she's signed by Wasserman Boxing. We met in the ABA finals. So I beat her in the ABA finals. She was on GB as well. And then there's a few other girls out there that I've beat. What's her name? Nicola Hotwell. Yeah, beat her twice in the nationals. Can't think of anyone else has turned over. Not that I know of. Michelle Quiche or Keegan. She's gone somewhere abroad, but she's turned over pro as well. So there's a couple that they're turning over, and I've seen obviously Nicola's with quite a well-known promoter, and it's like I could happily like get in there and just like be level above.
It's interesting to see that, because obviously you've had the experience in the amateurs. Obviously they've gone on into the pro game. You're going to be obviously fighting longer rounds, not a longer time, but longer rounds. Do you feel like you're going to have a bit of catching up to do? Or like you said, because you achieved so much in a short amount of time, that you're just literally going to blend in, and this is just going to be like a carry-on for you?
To be honest, I feel like it's going to be a carry-on. Like I've seen like there's women's boxing out there, but there's like levels to it, do you know what I mean? And I feel like there's some girls out there that fair play to them to get to where they've got to, and the titles that they've got, but like there's a few girls I've like been keeping an eye out, and like some have got titles, and I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, well, I want to fight for that title, because I know what like levels and where I've come from. So yeah, to be honest with you, there's like levels, and I think I'll fit straight in.
And having that competitive spirit is what you've got to have. At the end of the day, it's you and your opponent in the ring. You've got to know that you're going to be the winner. You've got to be confident in yourself. Sometimes we often see, and you know, fights on the weekend have shown that when you start to lose a fight, when you get in that ring and you know you're confident at the time, but then you start to realise you're on the back foot, having to either overcome that or literally to like sink into that, and then you're just constantly losing. Then you're just on a spiral on the way down.
Yeah, I think you need to like being put out your comfort zone to then realise that you have to dig deep in them situations. Like Max has put me through a couple of them like comfort zones where I've felt really uncomfortable and you want to quit, but it's that grit and determination to dig in and like carry on, really, that gets you through it and brings you out the other side.
Yeah, kind of like I remember when he first started training, Tion and Corey, and like I said to you off camera, I was watching their stories and I was seeing they looked absolutely shattered from their training. The step up in training, you know, we can finish on Max's style, his training style, and what it does to you as a fighter, because it's not just building you physically, it's also building you upstairs as well.
It's like when you're tired and you're just ready to just give in, that not being outworked and just carrying on and gritting down. I like said to Tion, I was like, God, it's hard, and he was like, yeah, it's next level. So yeah, it is good training though.
And will you be going to any of your teammates' bouts? I know that Corey's down in Bournemouth on the boxer card, and then we've obviously got Tion and Hamza. They're over in Brighton I think it's Brighton on Dunsmore on the same day. Are you planning to go to any of those? I'm
actually going on holiday. Otherwise, I was gonna be there, but I booked a holiday last year for the end of the year just to reset. But otherwise, I'd be there. So I'll watch it on a stream or something. But definitely be supporting them the next fights anyway.
Brilliant. Well, we're going to have to get your name out there. We're going to be, you know, mentioning your name everywhere. I'll be putting some bits up on social media, but this will go out on YouTube first. Have you got any sponsors, or are you actively looking for sponsorships at this time?
Yeah, I'm looking for sponsorship at the moment. I've got Empire Fight, which are sponsoring me.
Brilliant.
Yeah, which are their quality gloves and gear. But yeah, I am actively looking for sponsorships to help get on board and support the journey.
And I'm going to ask then, you as an advertisement, you selling yourself, why should you be sponsored? What makes you special enough for a sponsor to say, you know what, I'm going to sponsor her? On the spot question, sorry.
That is totally on the spot. Entertainment of a fighter, and just supporting your local like home girl from Birmingham and get behind her and becoming a world champion.
We like it. October Red Boxing with the lovely Tori-Ellis Willetts. Until the next time, we wish you the best on your journey, and thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Hi, and thank you for watching October Red Boxing. Like, subscribe, and tap the bell for notifications. You can also find us on Instagram at October Red Boxing and on Twitter, October Red UK. And remember, at October Red, we stay ready.